Good morning. My name is Pablo Willy Bustos. I'm your music director here. I use he and him pronouns, and I would like to invite you to join me in body and spirit and song as we join in our first hymn, Draw the Circle. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one is alone, we'll be side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle, draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one is alone, we'll be side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one is alone, we'll be side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one is alone, we'll be side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one is alone, we'll be side by side. Draw the circle wide.
Good morning. Welcome to worship at First Unitarian Church of Rochester. Each and every week we start by saying our mission, and usually it's me or whomever is up here leading worship, but as you often hear from me, and if it's your first time, you'll hear it more than once today, everything we do here at church, we do together. And so today, for our mission, I'm gonna need some help. We'll start over with the choir because everybody knows that the first rule, I don't know if everybody knows this, I'm still working on this. I am told that the first rule of producing good music is listening well. And so I'm gonna ask you to repeat the first line of our mission overall on that side. We listen deeply to others and ourselves. And right here in the middle, where there are not only two sections in the sanctuary, but folks online, we're gonna take this big open middle section. We open to wonder and transformation. And over on this side, where we have some representatives from our partner organizations of our Greater Good partners this year, so it's a little unfair to make you all do this, and I apologize, but thank you for helping us. We serve together with love and humility. Yes, we do. Thank you. Thank you all for being a people with me, a people with a purpose of living our mission together in this space and out in the wider world. If it's your first time or you're newish here at First Unitarian, I invite you to stop by the welcome desk or let us know online so that we can help you connect with others. And here at First Unitarian, all of us are new to this day, new to this particular gathering, and we begin our time together here by acknowledging that the land that we gather on is the historic and contemporary land of the Seneca people, the keepers of the western door of the Haudenosaunee. If you're here at church today because you're worried about yourself or someone else, I invite you to connect with a chaplain, either here in the sanctuary or online. Connect with our pastoral care team. Church truly is about being with one another, and we know that none of us journeys alone. It is our greater good service today. It is, yeah, Sheila started clapping, but it's okay, don't yet, because you're in for a treat later on. And I'd like to begin our time before we light our chalice with the voice of one of our members of our Greater Good team, our Greater Good committee. I'd like to invite Jason Ryder to tell us a little bit about what it is that brings us together today and what we celebrate. Thank you, Jason.
I'm Jason Ryder, and I use he, him pronouns. I'm a member of this church and the Greater Good Committee. For literally my entire life, the Greater Good Project has been a special tradition here at First Unitarian. It's an important winter tradition for my family, and thousands of other people have participated over the last 15 years. Children and adults, from the tiniest tot to our respected elders, come together this month to do something incredible. We invite each other to sacrifice half the money we would have spent this holiday on travel, gifts, toys, food, and impulse buys. Together, we raise over $500,000 to support organizations right here in Rochester. This is part of the way we serve together with love and humility, which is our mission. Each year, the project begins when members of this community make suggestions. A committee of youths and elders, adults, pour over all the applications to narrow the field to 3 finalists. The Greater Good Charter is inspired by the Christmas story, which tells us that a child shall lead us, and so on. Election day, all children and youths vote to select 2 great organizations. We'll hear today from these 2 amazing groups, Equicenter and the Flower City Arts Center. Both projects help to open the gift of life and empowerment by drawing our circle of inclusion wide, which is really what the Greater Good is all about.
Thank you, Jason. All right, we sacrifice a bit of silence, an hour of our time, what we might otherwise spend in the company of ourselves alone to be together on Sundays. We sacrifice a bit of our breath to join in unison words. But first, let us fill up and take a deep breath. And exhale as we settle into this time and place. Please join me in our unison words as we light our chalice. If you're joining online, I invite you to light a candle or a chalice. And if you're here in the sanctuary, Sheila, I'd love it if you would light our chalice, for we follow our children in their election of our organizations today, but we know that you play a primary role in that. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and mysteries of this great gift.
Morning. I'm Brownlee Field. I use he, him, his pronouns. My wife and I have been tent camping for decades, but when we retired, we bought our first travel trailer, and we were RV novices and had lots and lots to learn. And campsites range from having all the hookups you need, power, water, and sewer hookups, all the way down to ones that don't have anything at all, and a lot of variety of things in between. When you're camping at one that has all the, at least electric and power or electric and water hookups, you can live pretty much like you live at home with our traditional habits of how we use power and water. But when you don't have any hookups at all, it's quite different, and it can be challenging if you weren't expecting it. We planned all of our camping sites for 2020 with at least power, at least we thought we had. And when we got to Temperance River State Park in Minnesota, it's on the coast of Lake Superior north of Duluth, we discovered, hey, there isn't an electric hookup here. And so we had to spend our 3 days conserving energy and water more than we normally would have. Now, we built big campfires and used a propane stove to cook on. And at night, we bundled up. We put every quilt and blanket we had on because it got down to 31 outside and about 41 inside because our furnace was not working. But we enjoyed ourselves and liked exploring the whole region up in Minnesota. And through experiences like that and others, we've learned that we can camp for about 4 nights, 4 days, with about 30 gallons of water, which is all our trailer will hold. Now, that includes, washing your hands and brushing your teeth and flushing the toilet and washing dishes, but also taking showers. And we can take a shower every other day, and they are Navy showers where you turn on the shower head, get yourself wet, turn it off, lather up, turn it on again, rinse off, turn it off again, lather up your shampoo, do it again, and that's a Navy shower. And so we're pretty accustomed to that. We can do that for a couple of months on the road. And that's taught us energy conservation, that we only need 30 gallons of water to camp for 4 nights, and we don't really need all the kind of water and power that we consume when we're at home. And isn't that why we come to church? Because, we could spend much more on holiday gift giving than we do, but we don't really need to. We can spend the rest on contributing to the Greater Good Project for those who really do need it. And we were lucky enough to be here when the Greater Good Project was launched, and we've contributed every year since then. It's become part of our holiday tradition. And since we only need 30 gallons of water to camp for 4 nights, but we really do need to contribute to the greater good. I hope you do too. Thank you.
So an optimist would see something like this and say, well, that's a glass half full of water. And a pessimist would say it's half empty. And Brownlee and his wife would say, I can take a shower in that. And so I invite you in the chat or here in the sanctuary to greet your neighbor and tell him something that you can do that most people can't do. Yeah. It seems that there is so much that you all can do, and I hope you'll connect and continue to share with each other after the service.
Good morning. I am Reverend AJ. I use he, him, his pronouns. And as Unitarian Universalists, there's a lot of religious traditions we draw upon. And in this season of holidays, there's a lot of holidays. And the thing about pluralism is it's not about neat and tidy little boxes, although there will be some neat and tidy boxes in this service later on. But, and you know, presents under the tree for certain traditions, there can be a lot of that. But the thing is, it's not that one person or one family picks one holiday and celebrates that every year, or picks one different one each year. But we actually, each of our families might celebrate many different holidays and might approach them in many different ways. And celebrating that pluralism, that beautiful interconnected tapestry of faith is what Unitarian Universalism in many ways is all about. And there are so many that it's hard for a large community like ours to necessarily celebrate them all. So there are some that we don't necessarily recognize, like Hanukkah begins tonight. There will be Kwanzaa after Christmas and various other holidays. As a community, First Unitarian does observe a few of these holidays in a big way. Christmas Eve being the big, one of the biggest nights in the Christian liturgical calendar. For the pagan theological viewpoint, we celebrate winter solstice. And Greater Good ends up being, in many ways, the most humanist of our traditions and our religious observances here. It's a service, it's a time to come together and celebrate the value of human agency, both what we can and the responsibility that we have to make the world a little better place. And so yesterday I was working on how to honor and express this humanist heritage of ours, and well, I found myself writing a poem that I would like to share with you now. It's good to meet you, here in space and now in time. A chance so improbable as to be most sublime on this planet called Earth, in this temple to dignity and worth. On this of all days in our history, as our lives unfold out of mystery. A unique and unrepeatable alignment of coordinates. This moment we share a pinpoint on the map, created by our choices and not by the fates. A rare opportunity just fallen in our laps. Because whatever heaven or hell exists in these parts is made when we work with our heads and our hearts. Giving for the good of humanity, the greatest gift is to see the value of each person, and not just to see it and say that we're done, but to pitch in our help and to give our best lift. And by lifting, all rise, because I need you to thrive. And all of us need all of us to survive. And so, the only irresistible grace is when we see the sacred in another's face. The only act of God, the recognition in a mutual nod as our long journey is trod. The only salvation being our own initiation into the greater good and its creation. The only divine intervention is human invention towards kindness. The intentional, thoughtful, striving, not a generosity mindless, not a philanthropic contriving, but something on purpose, thoughtful, well-reasoned and planned, where we lift up each other and each back to all. It's truly the only way we don't all fall. Serving the good that is greater can't be put off until later. What humanity suffers is what we allow. When we meet in this life, we have to start here. We have to start now. And so we start with generosity, and we start with compassion, we start with supporting one another here and now. And so I invite you into ritual to bring what is on your heart and lay it on the altar of community and spirit. Honoring the complexities of life, please bring to mind whatever grief or growth or gratitude is alive within you this morning. Online, you're invited to share that in the chat. And here in the sanctuary, you're invited forward to light a candle at one of the altars. If you'd like an usher to bring a candle to you, please just raise your hand. May we now share in this ritual of community care and witness to one another's hearts. All that we hold in our hearts for ourselves, for each other, and for the world is held in this community and by a love that will not let any of us go. May it be so, and blessed be.
This one's my fault. It is time to meet our greater good partners. We hear first from Katie and Catherine from Equicenter, or first from Sarah from Equicenter by video, and then we welcome Katie and Catherine to our pulpit.
Equicenter opened its doors with the adaptive riding program. We began with a handful of horses and a couple participants. We now have 30 horses in our herd and serve over 120 participants per week, ranging from 2.5 to 90 years old, and we have nearly 80 students on our wait list. Each of our lessons is tailored to the individual's needs, where we work to strengthen their physical and cognitive abilities.
Hi, my name is Lisa Gray. My son Logan has been coming to the Equicenter for about a year now. Therapeutic horseback riding has come highly recommended by Logan's physical therapist from early intervention. He has told us multiple times that Logan would benefit greatly from adaptive horseback riding in terms of his core strength. He is a little bit lopsided because he has a malformed right arm, so his balance is always a little bit off, but we feel that being on the horse really helps him compensate for that and also build the strength in a balanced manner in his body. And we see that come forth in his walking. It has become incredibly stable over the last year since he has been coming here. So really the development is more than just gross motor. It is also in terms of comprehension and his verbal skills.
Get set. Go. Yeah. Good morning.
His confidence has skyrocketed. He is starting to have a little bit of attitude as well. Logan's favorite part about coming is probably the horse sneezing. I know it sounds really funny. When the horse sneezes, Logan just explodes in joy. He will laugh, his body will tense up with laughter. And it is absolutely infectious. So we have a great session when the horse sneezes a lot. Aside from that, Logan really, really loves to trot. You can see it in his face, the fast movement. He enjoys the challenge of it, I think, physically, but he just loves the fast movement. The Equa Center is very special in that they really see Logan as a person. Logan's preferred form of communication is music. He sings a lot.
Well, I apologize all. That video started at the wrong place. I could have used a horse for running up to the AV loft, and I now have a lot more compassion for what Pablo and the choir do. It is not that far from here to there, and yet here I am again. Let's start again. We begin again in love. We begin again with Sarah. There we go.
My name is Sarah McLaughlin, and I manage the HEAL program here at the Equa Center. HEAL stands for Horticulture and Equine Active Learning, and it's a program that combines all that the Equa Center has to offer, our horticulture and our horses, into one really great opportunity for any group or individual that's interested in participating. The HEAL program has reached out to 17 different school groups and organizations. This program can offer opportunities for these groups to come for one-day tours and field trips here at the facility, like we did for some of the schools in the city of Rochester. A group of 40 kindergartners came for a day tour and got to see a horse for the first time and learn that food grows in the ground and not from the grocery store. Some of the other events that we've put on for some of these school groups are participating in our maple syrup harvesting and days. So that group got to head down to our maple stand, learn how to tap the maple trees, collect the syrup, and even bring it up for a boil and candy making afternoon up at the house. The HEAL program offers opportunities for each group that attends to work through different stations, again, tailored to their needs. They can do things like groom the horse, give the horse a bath. We have cans that we call What Is It cans, where they have to put their hands in and try and guess blindly what the object could be. We have the vaulting barrels, where they're able to get on and practice some moves that they would be able to try from the ground safely. And we also include activities from the garden. So a lot of the students are able to go and get their hands in the soil and learn that carrots come from the ground and not from the grocery store. They're able to learn the life cycle of a plant and what each one needs to survive and be healthy and grow food, which is something that a lot of students don't have any experience with other than their time here with us. The HEAL program is a great reminder of mindfulness, which is something I think we all need a little more of in this world.
Hi, my name's Debbie Julieres, and I'm going to talk about one of our greatest programs called Social.
Well, you've heard from Sarah, you've heard from Debbie. Now, why not Catherine and Katie?
me? How about now? Okay. Hi, my name is Katie, and I am the Therapeutic Horticulture Programs Director at Equicenter. In essence, I am the horticulture half of our HEAL program. You've seen a little bit about several of our programs today. You may have noticed that for our riding program, that first little clip that you saw, those individualized lessons are really tailored to helping participants to work on physical, cognitive, and interpersonal development skills. And so being able to learn soft skills and life skills that can be used outside of a riding lesson are really, really impactful to our students. However, those programs are usually much more individualized. And so the HEAL program is really our answer to getting larger groups of youth participants in through our doors. In 2022, we served just about 1,200 youth participants, primarily from the Rochester City Schools. About 80% of those groups that come out for programming actually are fully funded by scholarships. So the money that you are donating actually helps to provide those programs free of charge to the schools within our own community. The thing I wanted to sort of touch on really briefly is that for us, we are super lucky at Equicenter to have about 200 acres of natural spaces where there are horses. There is a working 3-acre vegetable farm. We have a maple stand, an apiary where we keep bees. And not all of our students who come out to our program are really familiar with those natural spaces. So I'd like for each of you to take a moment and just quietly think about or reflect on a really impactful, like nature-based memory that you might have. Go ahead and do that now. And then if you'd like to, please go ahead and turn to a neighbor and share that briefly. All right, did everybody share a nice memory with each other? Perfect. All right, so whether it was a family vacation, a camping trip you took, or a school field trip, these nature-based learning opportunities really leave lasting marks in us as we kind of grow and become the people that we want to be into adulthood. And we're hoping to sort of give a little taste of that to the students who come in for our HEAL program. So I actually have a small hands-on activity for anyone who wants to stop by our table after the service to make small seed balls. These are little sunflowers that are encased in clay that you can take home and plant either in your yard or a public space. And it's a way for you to take a little piece of what you're doing here with the Greater Good initiative and sort of plant that seed to share either with a family member or a community member, a neighbor, or just to be able to put it in your own yard and share a little bit of beauty and a little piece of nature just right within your own community. So thank you all so much for having us. We're really, really honored to be selected this year. So thank you again. And we hope to see you at the table after the service.
The Expanding the Field program is an arts advancement opportunity for local high school students who are serious about their futures in the visual arts. Right now, we're seeking rising high school freshmen, sophomores, and juniors of African American, Latinx, and/or Native American heritages, as well as any student who identifies as one of color, to apply for free classes, mentorship, networking, and studio admission at Flower City Arts Center in Rochester. The Expanding the Field program supports access to visual arts resources, increasing the diversity of college-level visual arts programs and future leadership in the professions of ceramics, printmaking and book arts, photography and digital arts, and much more. Right now, African Americans and people of color are severely underrepresented in the visual arts, and our aim is to change that. Accepted students choose one class or workshop per quarter. They are invited to continue these free classes or workshops through their senior year. A transportation subsidy is available, so please visit our free application online at www.flowercityarts.org or contact me, Rashad Parker, at rparker@flowercityarts.org for more details. Thank you.
So you saw him on video, and now we get to meet Rashad, and a current student in the Expanding the Field program. Let's welcome Flower City Arts.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having us here. My name is Rashad Parker. I'm the program director for the Expanding the Field program, and I'm here today with one of our current students, Sadie Hunter. And I just want to say that God is love, and it's good to be loved, to receive love, and to give love. And we see this as a gift of love from the Greater Good campaign from First Unitarian Church. And we thank you very, very much, because essentially what you're doing with this gift of love is providing an opportunity for Black and brown students to be able to pursue their dreams of higher education, of, being an artist, a visual artist, and getting into a college. And I just want to say that currently we have students and 4-year scholarships as a result of this program at RIT, at Stony Brook, at St. John Fisher, at Nazareth College. So it's a reality, and we are so very grateful for this opportunity to receive this gift. And I'll hand it over to Sadie so she can have a few words as well. Thank you very much.
As a student who has been in this program for a good number of weeks, I would like to say that it's a very enjoyable program, and it's very helpful for students who might not know exactly what they want to go into when they graduate and go to college. So for me personally, as someone who explores many different artistic fields, I feel like this program is very helpful in learning new things that would come in handy for the future. And it's especially helpful for students who come from families that might not be able to fully pay for these types of things, since in other places it might cost a lot for us to do such. So this program is very good for people of all ages, really, if you want to explore types of things. Like for me personally, I'm currently in 2 programs, the Introduction to Photography and Fashion Photography, which are both very amazing. The teachers are extremely nice, and they're very good at their jobs. And I'm going to be starting another program for sculpting in January. So I do believe that if any of you here would be interested in these types of things, you should try and reach out, because it would be a very nice way to find something new to do, or find something that you might enjoy as a hobby.
Thank you, Sadie. That was great. I also want to say that we are also out in the lobby area, and we have a table set up to talk more about our program and also provide examples of the students' work. Just this past Saturday, we had a field trip to the Lamberton Conservatory. We took pictures of that beautiful botanical garden in there, and then afterwards, the students came back and edited those images, printed them out, and then turn them into risographs. So we have a table outside. Please feel welcome to come by and talk with us more. Thank you.
I could have sworn you were all listening to me breathing earlier, and I got nervous, but it was actually just wind in the video because they were outside. How many of you have had an experience where you couldn't do something or you weren't able to do something that you knew that you could? It's a bit of a tricky question. There are a lot of sort of double negatives in there, but all of us, if we're being honest. And sometimes it's hard to know that that's true, especially if society has been built for us. If you're not paying attention, those barriers are removed before you even notice them. So when we move from the street where cars are onto a sidewalk where people move outside of motorized vehicles, if that is a 2 or 3 or 4 inch jump, if you use wheels, it's hard to get on, right? And so at intersections, we put curb cuts so that people can move from the street to the sidewalk. And we do that initially for wheelchair users, but it turns out that's good for everyone. Good for people who maybe are able to move with their feet, but can't lift their foot as high as the curb. Good for babies in strollers. And so if you've been a baby in a stroller, that question applied to all of us. But sometimes we're more aware of the obstacles in our life. And so I want to invite you, well, before we do that, I just want to really luxuriate in that being a baby in a stroller feeling for a moment. Because it's Sunday morning and we deserve a little bit of rest and flow. So let's just flow like a baby in a stroller, getting onto the curb. So you're flowing. And now I'm going to ruin that. I'm going to invite you to bring to mind a time where you were stuck. And this flowing, you just, instead of like hugging yourself, you're just going to trap yourself. I'm going to invite you to physically move your arms around your body. And it could be like this. I'm seeing some of you do this. That's okay too. And while you're like this, think of a time where there was an obstacle in your life or a barrier, something that you didn't know what to do next. You didn't know how to move through that. Call out, if you feel so inclined, what that feels like. How did it feel in that moment to be stuck or trapped by that barrier? Hearing scared, hopeless. But that's not the end of the story. Whatever it is that you're imagining, whether this happened in real life or not, I want you to keep writing the story with me. And so ease out of that trapped position and let your arms flow out, resting on your lap or open in front of you. And bring to mind someone who helped you move past that obstacle, or something that helped you open the gift that was already within you, but you didn't know how to access yet. I got a 4-year college scholarship to a college across the country from where my family lived. I wouldn't have been able to go to a private college in New York City without that scholarship. And if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have found myself in the company of people for whom religion was a way of being in relationship with other people, about community building, about seeking justice together. If I hadn't gotten that scholarship to a Catholic school in New York City, I don't think I would be here with all of you today. The people that opened that box for me, I don't know. Anyone else have someone or something that opened the gift for them? Call out if you'd like to share. A name, an opportunity.
A teacher.
A teacher. Sheila, what opened the box for you?
So many things. I was thinking of a teacher that I had in high school who saw me on the soccer field and was like, we need to talk. And that was the beginning of a really long relationship that I had with her. Yeah, it was great. Now I'm feeling teary because I am remembering that. Anyway, so yeah, so it's really like opening a gift, right? That person who, or the force, right? It could be a group of people, it could be a force of fate, it could be intentional, that somebody makes the decision to help you to release whatever strings were attached to that thing that was keeping you down. You know, for me, maybe being the youngest and being in a huge family, I don't know.
Hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking. And whatever that thing was that maybe was keeping you, keeping whatever that potentiality was inside of there, you may not have even been aware of all the things that were in there, right? So it could have been a way of expressing yourself. It could have been something that you wanted to learn. It could have been just a love, right? More love in your life in some way, right? That had come to you, that opened you up in ways that you did not imagine. And so whatever that force was, it opened it up and there was an explosion. And inside that box, there was confetti. There was lots of things that you could not have imagined before, right? That had kept you down. And each one of the things that maybe you only had imagined became either a memory or an affirmation of who you were, or part of your spirit that needed to grow, or a skill, or something that was in there that you didn't know about before. And somebody just came, or a force came into your life that other people had contributed to make that opening really a celebration for you.
And so we celebrate the greater good together as a community. For 15 years, and again, right now, in just a minute, you as First Unitarian Church of Rochester, you as the people who don't even go to this church, but keep getting a gift to the greater good from your family members each year, and you live in Seattle, but now it's part of your family tradition. You who are new to this tradition, we are invited to open the gift. So I invite the members of our Greater Good Committee to come forward, and they will hold baskets and bring forward the carts over here.
Thanks, Joe.
You know, I spend this whole service talking about how we're together, and then people get really squished up in here. A little bit of distance, my friends. Joe and Joe, it's so nice that you have the same name, and you're going to be right here in the middle. Fabulous. So I'll invite you forward, and if we're lucky, Pablo will play us a little bit of music and direct a choir and some beautiful singing. And I invite you to come forward, and if you and your family have decided to give a gift to the greater good this year, I invite you to put it into that red envelope, which I like to pretend is for Lunar New Year. And pretend is maybe the wrong word, because it is just what it is. It is for Lunar New Year. Even though you all have been doing that for over a decade without anybody saying that. Sometimes that's how it works in community. I invite you to come forward. You're invited to give online. You're invited to give in the envelope. You're invited to give the gift of your presence. Whether or not you're giving money today, I want you to know that your contribution to this community is valued and that your presence here matters. And if you and your family have figured out a dollar amount and you go home and you talk with each other and you realize you'd like to give more, that's okay too. We collect gifts to the greater good from now through January 6th. And these gifts are given to our 2 partner organizations, answering the call of the needs that they have expressed in, I will say, their own communities, but ultimately their communities are our community. And so as you come forward, whether or not you've given online or in an envelope that you'll place into this basket, or it's your presence that is the gift you give today, I invite you to take an exploding box and don't open it here in the sanctuary, but hold on to it. And when you return to your seats, I'll offer a blessing for that box and for you. You may now come forward. Beautiful. What a blessing you all are to us. I see one of our baskets has escaped to the back of the room, but here's the thing about Unitarian Universalist blessings. They go everywhere. May the gifts of these communities be blessed, just as you all are a blessing to the world. May the work and witness of this community go towards drawing the circle ever wider. May access and the gifts of art and nature help others to unlock all that lives within them. As you go from this place, and I want to be clear for the folks online, we want to get you one of these boxes also. We want to get you supplies for all of our holiday services. And so you can sign up to have one delivered, or you can pick one up here. But for those of you who are here in the sanctuary, you are not done yet. I invite you to put your hands, one on the bottom and one on the top of this box. Now you already know there's confetti inside. That's the Unitarian Universalist secret. There is love and something holy and sacred within you. But this box, I want you to take it with you, and whether you keep it for yourself or you give it to someone who could use a reminder of all that is possible within them, I invite you to, on the 8 flaps, place photos or affirmations, or as Sheila reminded me, candy is an option also. Place things, good things about you that you already know to be true, but could use reminders of on this box. May this box of blessings be opened. May you open this gift and open the gift for others. All right, you're gonna hold this like a cute little package, not for any particular reason, but I think it will look quaint if we all do it together. And we're gonna turn to the left, because I'm being bossy now, and we'll see that our "This Way to Caffeine" signs have doubled over the past week. But not only is that caffeine, my friends, not only beyond that door is the ability to drink sweet, sweet coffee and other beverages, but also our coming of age youth have made soup that the proceeds will go toward the Greater Good Project, go towards our partner organizations, and the warmth and nourishment will go into your belly. So, because we are a people who generally does not make you sing for your supper, but because we have too many good songs to sing together, I want to invite you into our closing hymn. Please rise in body or in spirit. What are we singing today, Papa?
We are singing "For All That Is Our Life." For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build a common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is alive, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful loves that pass, we come with grace and thanks. For all that is alive, for all that is alive, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use to build a common good and make our own days glad.
When I sing that hymn, it's the common good, but when Pablo sings it, the good really goes on because it is the greater good. Thank you, Pablo, and thank you all for laughing. Come, let us extinguish our chalice together. We extinguish this flame, but not the lighted truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our worship has ended. Our service now begins. Go in peace, go in love, go with the greater good in your heart, and knowing that you are loved. I love you. Amen.